Maybe going back to Encinitas Community Center for meetings, or have you discussed any of that?
We haven't looked into it, but I understand that their policy has changed on how they reserve the meeting rooms. So I'm not even sure whether that's an option. But yeah, I always thought Encinitas Community Center was really a nice venue. But I'm not, how does everybody feel? Did that work pretty well for everyone?
You know what?
Yes.
I would prefer that we get a place halfway between Carlsbad and where I am in Sorrento Valley, North San Diego. It's at least a half hour, 45 minutes for me to drive from here to Encinitas.
What is halfway?
So what's halfway? Solana Beach? I mean,
Solana Beach or Del Mar.
Yeah,
Okay.
someone commented at a board meeting this year that they thought at the Encinitas Community Center, you couldn't do like we were thinking of doing, a single meeting. You needed to
Right.
be willing to commit to, monthly
Multiple
meetings or
meetings,
something like
yeah.
that. But people can inquire. I think, Pat,
Mhm.
maybe, have you been our most recent? It takes an Encinitas resident
It does
to
take,
connect us to.
in the past, it has taken an Encinitas resident to go in and sign the papers.
Okay. So we could check on what they allow, but yes, that's what I was remembering, Bobby, that there was some restriction like that. So thanks for remembering.
Before the
Bobby-
pandemic, I did a survey that indicated that about 2/3 of our membership live in Carlsbad. So we should, maybe it's time to renew that survey and find out where the most people live.
Well, we can kind of scan through the directory and,
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
you're right, we have a lot of members in Carlsbad. So,
Well, the other thing too is possibly, I don't know what the Solana Beach Library offers, but that's a possibility.
Yeah,
I
they
think
have
they
a
do have
room.
a community room there off to the side where meetings can be held.
Yeah, a number of years ago, I called around to places like that. I don't remember now what they said, and the rules, the policies may have changed, so I'll be glad
Or
to.
bank-
talk with the Solana
Banks are
Beach.
another possibility.
what
Yeah.
is that?
Sometimes banks have meeting rooms
Oh,
that they'll lend out.
okay. Yeah,
And we used to meet for, when Judy, when you were involved as, I think, program chair, we met at the Cardiff Library, I believe for free, but they couldn't guarantee we had a spot.
yeah,
We couldn't put it in our directory that we were going to meet there in March. You only found out like a month or two ahead of time.
yeah, that's hard.
So it was difficult. And the board meetings used to be at a restaurant where we had a free room, and then enough of us stayed after the meeting to have dinner there so that we could get the free room. But there's fewer and fewer of those sorts of things available. I don't think that restaurant even exists anymore.
Yeah,
How, Milton's, on Del Mar,
Mhm.
yeah,
They have-
it has a nice back room. I think
They
we've had the lunch there once, I remember,
oh,
a time ago.
I don't remember AAUW ever having an event
It
there.
was one of those every other lunch bunch things, I think, but it was a couple
Oh,
years ago.
okay.
Oh,
Anyway,
lunch bunch,
there's-
yes, I could have.
there's a room that
okay.
has quite
Well,
a
that's
few
worth
tables.
looking into.
How do
Ah,
people
yeah.
feel about a restaurant for our meetings where, really we need to have at least a critical mass stay for a meal? How do people feel about that?
That's a good motivation.
Yeah.
Pandora in the Pandora restaurant off of Loma Santa Fe, they have a large table, and every time I've gone in there, there've been meetings there.
Panera
restaurant?
Bread? Panera,
Yeah,
What restaurant did you say?
Panera, down by,
That's not good for, our book group met there and we had trouble finding a table, and you can't reserve or anything, I don't think.
Oh.
And you're in the middle of a restaurant with people all around you talking.
yeah, that's not,
well, they have that long, more than a couple times I've been in there, and there's been a group of 10 or 12 people.
But they
For
haven't
board-
really,
for board
yeah.
meetings.
oh, the
I
ones,
also wondered if maybe some of the restaurants like Forenza that we've gone to for Fun Food and Friends,
Mhm.
You know, they have a really nice patio. I don't know if we're there like at 10, if it's not very occupied or,
Saturday lunches at Firenze are not busy at all, and that's where our Fun Food and Friends groups have met several times. It's quiet, pleasant,
so
Very
that,
nice outdoor patio.
but
Yep.
people need to want to eat.
yeah. Well, and
I'd like to
good
make a
motivation.
reservation there.
Yeah.
Open table.
right, we could make
Yeah,
a
yeah, I've done it
reservation.
many times.
Okay, so that's a possibility. You know, I thought of Casa
No,
de
no.
Bandini, but that's up here in Carlsbad. They also have a very nice patio, but
What place?
yeah, I don't know hours and, you know, complications, but at least we've got some ideas here.
What place?
I think the main thing is just if it's, if our members are not willing to come because it's at a restaurant, that's one thing. The other side of that is some of us are glad to eat at a restaurant anytime, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Another,
Didn't we used to do that at a restaurant in Solana Beach?
I don't remember.
Well, I don't, maybe it was some other group I was in. Well, not in very many groups though, but I remembered we had to have a minimum number of people that committed to have lunch afterwards in order to have the meeting first in the meeting, room.
We did one, Bobby is probably thinking of the one I can't remember the name of it, but I think the restaurant's not there anymore.
right. And we used to meet many years ago at the, oh, what's it called? The place with plants and flowers and in Encinitas. It's now the San Diego,
The Botanic
the
Garden?
Oh, the
Botanical
Botanic
Garden.
Garden.
yeah, the San Diego Botanical Garden. We met in the room, in some room they had.
Oh, in the back. Yeah,
and
you're
then
right.
we-
We did meet
And then we
there.
had catering. I don't know if they picked it up or they delivered it, but from it's the place,
Pies.
Kai's, yes.
Mhm.
And so it was like sandwiches and so forth. But the big problem with a restaurant is people have to commit, yes, I'm going to the meeting,
Mhm.
or a minimum number need to. But it's a good idea, I think.
Well, I
Okay.
think that if we investigate several places, you may find because it's hard for many of these restaurants to stay open because they do not have enough clientele, that they may find that having a group come there, whatever monthly or every other month or something, would be a benefit to them economically.
Well, that brings up the other part of this question was, what do you think about having meetings like every other month or versus every month?
I would go for 4 meetings a year.
Okay, anybody else want to chime in?
I like that.
Well, I like the monthly meetings because it gives me a chance to catch up with people that I'm interested in talking to. What do you think about new members? Would they be able to make enough contact during the first meeting so that they'd want to come back to the second meeting?
Well,
Yeah,
it depends on whether or not they get
Months
involved.
away. Yeah.
I think as a new person that it would take more than one of the formal meetings to get to know people. So it feels like you almost need to do more than just the meeting, but join some kind of interest group too. At least that's how I did it, and Carol Pletcher did it the same way, and I don't know who else is new. So I would not think that the meeting format is the best way to get initiated into the group. I would say it's one of the steps, but not enough.
I think Karen has done an excellent job of talking to people one-on-one.
Right.
As far as, here's all our opportunities, wouldn't you like to join some of these interest
Yeah,
groups?
Karen was great.
Nancy often
Karen was
personally
great.
calls
Yeah.
new people to invite them to novel lovers.
Well, I'm going to parrot Charlotte when she says that she's looking for people that she can interact with and enjoy and have activities.
Right.
And, right
But
now,
how would-
we are going through a breadth of people who are lonely and have little connection with various people. And we need to pull them in with opportunities for connecting.
But how would they make their first contact? That wouldn't really be through an interest group. Wouldn't they have to come to a more formal meeting in order to find out about the interest
No.
Well,
groups?
you know what?
didn't-
That's the job of
I
communications.
did not,
Right.
I did not come to a formal meet, nope, because it was
Okay.
virtual. So, and I didn't want to do virtual. I needed the face-to-face. So the only way at the point of last year, when the regular meetings were Zoom meetings, I pursued the face-to-face through interest groups. So that has changed now if we're talking about face-to-face meetings. But
Mhm.
But one of the other possibilities too is that the format of the meeting doesn't need to be the same, even if we were meeting every month. Like we could have workshops or some other
right,
activity
that's true too.
as opposed to a
Mhm.
speaker. 'Cause I
Webinars.
think maybe the speaker is what's wearing on people, just having a speaker.
Well, I'm remembering the first time I came, which is probably 17, 18, and it was in person at the Encinitas Library. And it had some kind of networking before or after. So I actually could talk to people, you know, I didn't just sit in a meeting and go home. Maybe it was
Right.
after. Anyway, I remember getting that connection and listening to the meeting.
Okay, so that's good feedback, and we've been trying to do that even on Zoom. Charlotte,
Sorry, you're muted. We can't hear what you're trying to say. Shar, you're muted. She's talking, but we can't hear her.
Char, can you unmute?
She's trying.
Okay,
Can you see a red thing that shows you're muted
Yeah.
that you can click on? It's very small.
yeah, either point down at the bottom or at the top of your screen, there should be, oh, she's frozen now. But Char, you should be able to point down at the bottom or up at the top, and a toolbar will come up with a little microphone that you can click on.
I don't even know if she's hearing us.
I don't know. But anyway, we'll go on, and if we,
Well, now, yeah, she's frozen, so she might
Yeah.
not be hearing us.
yeah, Bobby?
I'm remembering a couple things. One thing that I didn't ever go to it, but I'm sure people did. Somebody had just a social meetup. They did it, I think, like one Saturday a month at the the place. What's the place you were mentioning, Nancy, for meeting at, where we used to have book club in Solana Beach?
Oh, Panera Bread.
Yeah.
Panera.
They just met
Mhm.
at the outdoor patio at Panera Bread or inside, and people just, sometimes they had a topic, you know, come
Mhm.
join us and we'll chat about whatever. And
Mhm.
it was, I liked I didn't participate, but I liked the idea that it was just show up. You don't have to reserve, nothing formal about it. You're going to meet up with some other women and chat. And
There was also First Fridays where people would come for a drink.
oh,
I
yes,
think
yes,
at somebody's
yes,
house.
yes.
Right.
Hmm.
And we even had Nancy set up a good one once where it was like it was at one of those Mexican restaurants with a big outdoor patio, and it
Mhm.
was happy hour and you could make dinner out of it, but it was very casual and we kind of had an area of the patio.
Yeah, I think that was
I
Casa
wanna,